Hello, my name is Jordan Heron. Of course, it says it on my tag. I am making this record for Spectacular Talks. It's a radio thing I listen to. I actually agree with quite a bit what they say. Even though I don't agree with the guy and a lot of other things, like half the things, religious-wise versus, I actually voted for Hillary. But when it comes with a lot of the things, I actually do agree with a lot of the things that he says. Or he talks about, and I find his points to be extremely valid. But this would be one of the points in which I do not. But I figure it is a common enough problem that needs to be addressed anyways. So there's a misunderstanding in the world that people think that just because corporations are donating to a specific party that they're being bought out or that they're getting some particular bonus. I'll tell you what they're getting in return. They're getting a country that is stable to run, that they can actually do things in. Okay, if you think that there's no money in politics and that politics can exist without money, you are sadly mistaken. Okay, politics exists to solve a problem created by the lack of money. Okay, you go to your car and it will break down, but before you go to your car, when you step into the yard, garage, or whatever, I want you to think about who it was that owned that vehicle before you bought it. Okay? A corporation. A major one, a small one, still a corporation. You want to make America great, you gotta, compromise. Okay? You don't want to have a state, then you go back to the 1960s or something, before we had technology, when the world was so much more racist and so much more in violence and all that shit. And then you can see how far we progressed. Okay? We have MRIs now. Okay? We have technology now that we didn't have back then. If you guys have a problem with there being money in politics, and you have a problem with people getting paid to do their job. If you have a problem with there being money in politics, then you have a problem with schools getting money from the Department of Education. You have a problem with police force getting money from law enforcement or the DOJ or the DOD or wherever the fuck they get their money from. Okay? But you need to understand, the United States doesn't have any income. All their money is made from fucking taxes and donations from contracts with other people. They don't sell a product. Okay? They sustain one. We are the product. We are the United States of America. You guys consider that to be a liberal idea. That keeping water clean is a special interest. A libertarian cause, if you will. It's a real cause, mind you, but it's still a liberal one. It requires politics, organization, restructuring, policy oversight. It requires being able to make sure people are actually doing their job to make sure you have a proper drinking water. Instead, what do we get? Know-nothing rednecks that think you can run a car on magic paper or magic glitter or something. People who think that you can move a 10-ton broke down vehicle or a tank or a freaking boat with I think my favorite excuse would be when they said that you could run it on weed. That was funny. People are fucking sad. People will wonder why people are laughing, why other countries are laughing at us now. Because people are voting for a buffoon. I find that very funny. It is laughable. It is funny. That's not something I'm unaccustomed to. It's not something that's new to me. I've seen people agree with the most retarded things. For instance, at one point in time, when me and my girlfriend were dating, a guy calling himself Outlander Dagger of ZZ Studios in Second Life went to a campaign to try and be the martyr by slandering me and using popularity contests to try and get an army to break me and my girlfriend up. His idea was that if he could convince them I was bad, they would do what he wanted. Here's the irony part of it. They did. And it destroyed the sale, mind you. Karma. But still, people in the popularity, they believe this shit. That amounts for something. It really does. It means people are stupid and will believe anything that the popularity of the popular person tells them. Or maybe they just sell out to some cheap word like a manager or a cop or friend, family, with no concept at any point in time that these individuals are still equal in the fact that they are human. I think people forget that. I agree with Specular Talks quite a bit on the fact that, there is corporate corruption. That they do get some unfair treatment. But they're not getting it because the government lets them. They're getting it because they pay somebody else to get it them. Lawyers to get them tax exemptions. I heard in a report a while ago that Microsoft had been hiding several billions of dollars from the IRS. That's interesting. That is very interesting. So, to a lot of you that thinks that you can get rid of money out of politics, and that big corporations are so evil, I want you to go to your car, empty out the fuel tank, and try to drive yourselves to work, and then break down the side of the highway, and then not call for a tow, because those are all corporations that you think are so evil. Granted, yes, they do have billions of dollars. They should pay more in taxes. I agree with that. But I can guarantee you this, Trump isn't going to make them pay more. He's actually going to make them pay less. So if you think that Trump is any different from those money-grubbing bastards, you're wrong. Alright. It's kind of like in Minecraft. Or Eve. People with the most money get the most ships, and people in Eve or Minecraft, richest people are the ones with the most diamond gear and enchantments. Or biggest fortresses, or factions, and so on and so forth. Largest war chest, if you will. Does that mean that they're evil? No. Does that mean that they're wrong? No. It's like a server that provides you with internet access. It has a shit ton more weight on processing than your computer does. I can guarantee you that. Does that mean that it's harvesting your data? No. That just means that there's more people accessing it and transferring data to and from point A to point B. Things add up. Do the fucking math. Damn. People. I still don't get why people don't understand that. I get it. You don't want those rich people getting unfair treatment. You know, I heard a report from these people that I was talking to. And they said that, oh, the cops only look out for the rich guys. That's why they take so long to get to the poor people. And my only response to that is very simple. Why don't you invent a teleporter from their place to your house? That way, when you call 911, they can instantly come to your door. Because the last time that I looked at the physics of getting from point A to point B, you actually have to drive down the road, and that takes at least 15 minutes to get where you're going. Okay? Not to mention the time it takes to actually find an address. So, yeah, I agree though. Some cops are racist. Some cops are bad. That is something that the system needs to refine. Pretty sure they're working real hard now to do it. I mean, hell, the Black Lives Matter issue and all the videos coming out of all the shit that they've been doing lately is... There is an issue with accountability. Something needs to be done. If you do what Trump says, get tough and try to force your way through the door, yeah, that's gonna be a good way to solve a problem, right? Yeah. That's worked. That hasn't worked to date. Seriously, people, what a fucking joke. You start a war with somebody, you better not whine when you get casualties. I've seen a lot of people bitching about their casualties. They still almost shut up about Benghazi. Now, I do agree with the fact that things happen that were bad. Okay? Everyone loses people in war. But you need to accept the fact that those were soldiers who were killing people as well as getting killed. You cannot think that maybe that, oh, you know, there's some guarantee they can go into a firefight and not get shot. Like they're protected on high or something. Sorry, but that ain't the way life works. When you put yourself in harm's way, you better expect to get a few scrapes and scratches. It's kind of like riding a bike on one of those trick things. You know, if you don't get it right, you're gonna break a few bones. Probably crack your skull open too. I've broken a few bones on those things. I broke my arm once on one of them. It's like I broke a leg doing something like that. Don't bitch when the people you love go into hell and then come back a little fucked up. Okay, they didn't have a choice. And frankly, I don't even like the government for that fact. Okay, I don't like that the people are sent to war and they have to sacrifice themselves to fight a cause that we don't understand or we don't know, for a government that's doing their own thing because they know something we don't. But I also know that there are points in time where such things are necessary. Okay? So stop bitching. Sound like a bunch of fucking 5-year-olds who don't get a fucking candy. You hate her? You know, I just... Alright? As for Hillary getting more money, Hillary versus Trump, I disagree with specular talks on which is worse. Mainly because this country depends on money in order to function. In order to have our economy. I don't think you people quite understand what economy is. The whole strength of the currency, you know, inflation, deflation, and all that stuff. All those concepts people were taught in Economy 101. Come on, people. Help me out here. I may not have passed economy, but I do understand one thing. Okay. And that is that the value of all goods, you know, is not depicted on the eyes of the beholder. It is depicted on the strength of the dollar. Okay? If you want your prices to go down, you need somebody who can put money into the economy and money into the equation in order to balance the budget and keep things good. With that said, Hillary has proven to be more than capable of doing that. Trump is so incapable of doing it that he's begging for money. Literally. Begging for money. You want a president that'll do that? Go to other countries, beg for money. I bet he wouldn't even make Mexico pay for the wall. He'd beg them to pay for it. He'd be like, oh, we can't afford it. Please save us. And then the Mexican government would be like, why would we save you? You're building a wall. Just don't build the fucking wall. If you can't afford it. Damn. I remember hearing those Republicans talking about economy back in the day. Guy with a fake tan and an overpriced suit going in the middle of the podium talking about how to cut expenditure to raise the budget because he didn't agree with Obama's way of doing things. I agree with the Republican on that fact. You know, in order to raise the budget, you need to cut spending. But that means raising the budget. You also got to increase the taxes on the rich. Because every country in which the taxes on the rich are higher flourish, and the ones that are more on the poor do not. That is a statistical fact. You guys don't like it? You want to argue how biased it is? You can suck my toe. Because the real world don't give a shit whether or not you believe it is. They're statistics based on reality. You can make as many excuses as you want about it, but that doesn't exactly change the fact. If you want to prove them wrong, don't grab a gun. Grab some pen, paper, and some people and try and prove them wrong. Again, I have to iterate on the money aspect. Okay. You guys don't like money in Wall Street. Wall Street. Well, I hate to tell you, people, but Wall Street dictates a lot of the prices on a lot of your goods. Mainly because investors and other stuff drives the price of things down. Okay? So, you don't like it, then you obviously don't like being alive or having luxury things at a low, low price. If you don't like that Hillary likes to bail out the banks, and you obviously don't like your stores having produce or your dealership having vehicles to give you in the time you need one. Because last I checked, every last one of those people get loans, including yourself, from the banks. And you pay the banks back on the loans. They give you a large lump sum so you could pay your rent in emergencies. You give them a small sum, and collectively it makes a whole. So don't bitch about them helping you make a living. Sure, they make a lot of money on the side. They're out to make profit. I have a 16 gigabyte computer with several terabits of hard drive space. It's more than I originally needed, but now I use it. I use it for backups, I use it for videos, I use it for security, I use it for multiple applications, I use it for offsetting the weight on my main drive, I use it for a lot of different things. These people like to use them for jets. I use my surplus for a better computer in order to do my job better. You can use your money to better your vehicle, to be able to make it point A to point B. You can use your money to improve your house. The fact of the matter is that you still need extra money. These people just have more of it because they are utilizing a system that develops a larger sum of individuals putting money into it. You make a program on Xbox and it sells. You can make a good 30, 40 grand in a night if and after you complete it. Because a lot of people will have access to it. A lot of people gain a lot of money out of it. But it takes a lot of hard work to get there. Development, management, success, education, people. I want to end this with a very basic argument. Okay. Donald Trump used to say that he was good with money. And now we find he's begging people for money. Because he can't afford it himself. And Hillary already has more than enough money. I want you to take that equation and apply it to the United States deficit. Okay? Hillary gets money. And she can run the United States. Trump would end up going to other countries and begging them for money. Is that what you want? Because I don't. It'd be like you guys bitched earlier about how Japan owned the United States debts. Or China or something. We would be so lucky as to have them so lenient as not to collect yet. But still, you bitch. And you whine. I'll be uploading this video and posting it to Specular Talks as a response. If anybody has any comments, I will be making a video at approximately a week or two after the fact when I read them. And I will be deleting any unintelligible, insulting, childish, juvenile, redneck, or uneducated responses. No, actually, I think I'll keep the uneducated responses. They'll give me something to talk about. As for the intellectual arguments, I will be responding to those. If anybody thinks the word liberal or pro-establishment is in any way an insult or argument, you are seriously mistaken. Because if you don't understand yet by looking at the United States flag, or the military, or the fact that you have any freedoms, or the Constitution, or the Bill of Rights, or any of the millions of other things that the United States is part of, then you obviously cannot comprehend the fact that the United States government, this America, is and always will be, without question, without argue, and inherently an establishment. Because we have established a government. If you don't like an establishment, then go live in your yard. You don't need power, you don't need heat, you don't need the cooling power of an AC unit in hot weather or a heating unit in cold temperatures. You don't need food in your stomach because you don't think that it's a good idea that an establishment would help you. Mind you, these people aren't helping you because they want to or care. They're doing it because it's their job. They're doing it because they get paid to do it. They're doing it because it's a special interest of theirs to make sure that the United States people live and prosper, so that the idea of America can continue as more than just that.